Throughout my travels to Thailand, one of my favorite dishes to taste whenever I see street vendors is pad thai. And one of the wonderful things about pad thai is its textures, its flavors, its colors. Beautiful balance between the sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and spicy notes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this dish the classic way. The actual cooking of pad thai takes less than 10 minutes, so it's important to have all of your ingredients ready to go. So the first thing to do is soak up all the ingredients that need soaking. For instance, the noodles, the backbone of the pad thai recipe. So I'm going to soak them in warm water. You could soak them in cold water, just not hot water. Hot water will cook the noodles, which you don't want to do. Soak them until they're pliable. The next thing we're soaking are the shrimp. These are dry shrimp, and they're really used for seasoning more than anything. Just seasoning, and they have a salty flavor. You're going to be soaking them about 20 minutes. And it's important when you're choosing the shrimp at the market to look for something that's orange-pink in color, really meaty with less shell. Just look for something that's plump like this and just a beautiful bright color. The main protein in pad thai is pressed tofu. You can tell it's pressed. It's about, I would say, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, and all the water has literally been pressed out of it. So the texture is a little bit chewy, and it's a great thing for when you're doing stir fries because it retains the texture even when it doesn't break apart in the wok. Here what we're going to do is just slice the tofu, and I'm using a cleaver, but use anything you want. Chef's knife is quite all right. There we go. The next thing we're going to do is put together the sauce, the seasoning. This is where we're really balancing the flavors between sweet, salty, and sour. 3 notes so far. We'll be adding bitter and spicy later on. Main ingredient here is palm sugar. Palm sugar is from the coconut palm tree. And what we're going to do is break it up a little bit. It comes as a paste or in little blocks, but either version will work. To this, I add tamarind concentrate, and that gives the sour note to the recipe. And to that, fish sauce. So like I said, sweet, sour, and salty. Just keep whisking the sauce until it's smooth. It's almost there. Okay, it looks great. And now, the last ingredient that we add to our stir fry is garlic, which I've already chopped. And now we're going to prep our garnishes. First, we're going to slice the scallion. What I like to do is slice it diagonally. For presentation, I find that it looks prettier. And now I'm going to prep the Thai chilies. Because I like to have a perfectly round slice, I just roll the pod right in between my fingers to loosen the seeds. And then I just cut the stems off, and the seeds crawl out. Just pull the very few last ones. And now just the slicing of this perfectly round slice. Now, you may want to wear gloves where you're dealing with chilies. Next ingredient for our garnish is the mung bean sprout. Now, what I like to do here is actually take the mung beans and snap off that little root end, that brownish part, just to make it cleaner. And there you have it. Very simple. And another garnish are the peanuts, just roasted, unsalted peanuts. And I just chopped these coarsely. The last garnish is this Thai basil. You'll recognize it by its purple stem right here. The leaves are fragrant, giving a licorice flavor to the dish. So here I'm just gonna snap the leaf off and then just tear it and throw it on your noodle dish just before you serve it. And we're ready to stir fry. Because the stir frying goes so fast, you want to make sure that all of your ingredients are right near you, right near the wok, okay? And in addition to what we prepped earlier, I have the chicken stock and 4 eggs right here. So now what I'm going to do is I usually set the wok on the back burner so it doesn't spit, the oil doesn't spit back at you. And here I have it set over a high flame because we're stir frying, and the idea is just to keep the ingredients moving very quickly. So now we have a little bit of grapeseed oil, and to that I'm going to add the garlic And we're going to stir fry that until it's slightly golden. And just as it's about to turn, you can see it's a little golden here on the edges. I'm going to just stir it a little bit. I'm going to add the shrimp. Here we go. Stir fry that until fragrant. What I'm trying to do is really just bring out the flavors here. And this is about right. So we're going to remove the shrimp from the wok. We're building the flavors one layer at a time. Going to add a little bit more oil. And now we're going to add the tofu. And as you can see, when we're using firm tofu, it doesn't break apart like regular tofu, which is why it's often used in stir fries. And we're just going to stir fry this until it's nice and golden. So this is a really nice color. So this is what you're trying to achieve throughout the stir fry here. And this is about right. So now we're going to move on to the next ingredient. I'm going to add a little bit more oil. Just going to swirl this around a little bit. And now we have our eggs. And what you want to do with the eggs here is scramble them without necessarily mixing them too much. You want a fair amount of white and yellow. And you want to make sure that they're not too wet but also not too dry. So you want a nice glistening effect on the top of the eggs. And then we're almost there. There we go. And this is done. So here we wipe any excess egg in the wok. And we're ready to move on to the next step. So again, we're going to add oil and then this beautiful sauce of tamarind, fish sauce, and palm sugar. And now the chicken stock. And to this, we're ready to add the noodles now. They're nice and soft, beautifully pliable. And all we're doing here is just draining them loosely. It's okay if a little water goes back into the wok. It's good right now. And now this is going to cook for about, let's say 4 to 5 minutes, absorbing all of the liquid and really building that beautiful flavor into the noodle itself. So now the noodles have absorbed most of the liquid. It still has a little bit more to absorb, but right now is about the right time to incorporate the shrimp with garlic and the tofu. And we're just going to incorporate all that, mix it up really nicely. And as you can see, the noodles are continuing to absorb the remaining liquid. And at the same time, what we're doing is really moistening the tofu and the shrimp. The noodles are beautiful right now. And I believe we're ready to serve. So you want to put a fair amount of noodles in the bowl and then top that with some tofu, dry shrimp, make it look nice and pretty. There we go. And now we're ready to garnish. And when you're in Thailand and you're sitting, at one of those, you pull up to one of the street vendors' carts, they'll have pad thai for you and you'll be able to garnish your very own. If I'm entertaining at home, I just like to serve it beautifully garnished already. Here what I like to do is break up the eggs and put them off to one side, just like this. You want some of the white part and the yolk. And to this, I'm going to add the mung bean sprouts. Pile them up like so. And here, more color. Gets really pretty. Just a little bit of scallion. Some crunchy peanuts all around. Another beautiful, vibrant color of red chilies. And Thai basil. And all I'm doing here is just tearing the basil, like so. And for the finishing touch, the lime. Now what they do in Thailand is carve something that goes into the plate. So this is the garnish we're using, the lime, which will squeeze on top of the dish afterwards. But this recalls the beautiful carvings that Thailand is so famous for. And it's really so simple. You just run the blade right on the edge of the lime, and then you just turn in all these little cuts you've made around the lime, and there's your dish right here. Now I just have to have a taste of this delicious noodle dish. This is exactly what we wanted. The sweet from the palm sugar, the sourness from the tamarind and the lime juice, saltiness from the fish sauce, the heat from the chilies. Everything is there in this single dish.